I'm going to go out to Toronto, Canada, and see if you can help me. Mary, help me.
I don't think I can. I'm really happy to talk to you, though.
Awesome. Hey, so what's going on? How can I help?
It's kind of a two-part question. How do I explain to my kids about my financial situation or my lack of money financial, where I used to be able to do things that they wanted to, and now I can't? And how do I teach them the value of money when on the other side their father spends and my ex-husband spends money like crazy? Yeah.
So what happened? You got divorced?
Yeah, it was a very bad divorce.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And when he found out I had more custody, and when he found out that he would have to pay child support, he wanted 50-50 custody just so he wouldn't have to pay child support. And like everything he does, he tries to make sure that he gives me the least money possible. So that's like single mom of 3 boys. So, and I'm on my farm, and it's not like I have a certain income from that, and very busy to get a second job. We're fine, but I can't do things like I used to, and they always question why. And like, Dad has money, well, how come? And Dad spends money on fun stuff, and I have to spend like my extra money on their sports and tutoring and not fun stuff.
Yeah. I hate that for you. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Like, we can talk about the money part, but and I won't even dig into the other stuff because that's not why you called, but I know that hurts. Like, all of it. And
it's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. And if you look at the data, even in 50-50 custody splits, men's net worth goes up over time, while single moms' net worth goes down. Even if the money's split, and there's several different theories as to why that happens, and it may be because Dad gets to buy fun stuff whenever he wants, but Mom has to actually pay for things that the kids are doing and they actually need, and those things are expensive and they add up. But all I have to say is this: I'm sorry. How old are these boys?
8, 10, and 12.
Okay, so that's perfect. So they're old enough to begin to have some more challenging conversations. So here's a couple of big picture things we're not going to do, okay? Number 1, we are not going to get into a comparison game with Dad. That's a fool's errand. There's a reason y'all got divorced, okay?
Yeah.
You don't want to get into that game. So you're going to have to do the work on your end, that when they come home and say, guess what Dad bought us? Guess what Dad got? Guess where Dad took us? That you are able to exhale and on behalf of your boys say, I'm glad my boys got to have a good time. Like, I'm glad that they were able to have this experience because they clearly had a great time. Not going to, you have to practice that. Otherwise, you're going to be so filled with bitterness. You know what I mean? Because it's not about him anymore. He is out of your life. I know he's not out of your life.
And that's part of the hard part. Like, there's so much resentment for him as well that I don't want to have, and I don't want to put that kind of burden on my boys either.
I know, and the money question, well, you just brought it up, so I'm going to go there. This is a money question, but this is like a 30-second money question. This is you sound as a wife who is an ex-wife who is hurt very badly. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
And I'm going to tell you, please don't let that resentment and bitterness spill over into your soul one more second. And I know it's easy for me to say, but it's going to poison you, and your ex is just going to move on down the road doing whatever stupid stuff he does. And so your resentment and your bitterness are simply going to serve to keep your tree from growing. You're just going to poison your own roots. It's not going to affect him at all. If the amount of bitterness and resentment you held hurt him, you could probably convince me that that's a good idea, but it's not. It's just going to hurt you. Okay? So how do you let go of resentment? How do you practice that? I don't know another way other than than having a daily journaling or daily writing practice where you slowly begin to, and this is going to sound crazy, Mary, and you're going to be like, I hate that I called this guy. But that you consciously write down once a day. If you can do it twice a day, you're awesome, but once a day. I wish him the best. I wish that guy the best. Even though you don't, do you? Are you laughing at me?
It's just like, I don't know if I could write that. Like,
I know.
Not what I expected you to say.
I know.
Be like, Mary, you need to write down, you are worthy.
Nope.
Not wish him the best.
Nope. Because this is, you are poisoning yourself. You keep drinking it. And I want you to pour it out before you pour it down your own throat. And so we're going to practice. Hey, Dad got a new truck and his new girlfriend, she's incredible. I'm glad he's doing well. Good for him. Because what's the alternative? Hoping it all fails? Because I'm going to tell you, it's already all failed for him. He's so...
And I know it's not right. And I know, like, yes. And I kind of do, like, because I want my boys to be okay. So, like, if he's okay, like, they're okay.
That's right. But here's the other deal. His life sucks. And he's so stupid he doesn't even see it yet. And it's like your friend that's like, oh my gosh, I just put $25,000. I got $25,000 in an inheritance and I bought a bunch of Beanie Babies. They're going to make us rich. And you're thinking, oh no, no. What are you doing? Right? It's that. He's so stupid. He blew up his whole life. And he's going to have sons that when they're 25 and 30, they don't talk to their dad.
But do you think that's going to happen?
I know it's going to happen. I worked with those boys, those men. And there comes a light bulb one day when they say, whoa. Why did you leave Mom? Why did you leave us? And by the way, how long is this divorce? How long have y'all been splitting 50-50 custody?
2 years.
Has it started waning yet?
What do you mean? Oh, well, like this winter, like I had them more.
That's right. I can almost guarantee you that over the next 3 to 5 years, his time with them will be less and less because they're going to start intruding. As they become young men, they're going to start intruding on his good time. And so you are playing. I tell everybody who gets divorced with young kids, you instantly go from, I want them to have a good 7th grade year. You do still want that, but we are now looking at a 10 to 15 year window. Now, I want 22-year-old men to never for a second doubt the character and integrity and love of their mother. That's the game we're playing now. And it's not a game. This is our life. But this is the shift. And that shift is going to be, here's ways we teach our kids about love and connection. You're going to sit down with them and show them the budget. Show them how much money you make. Here's how much money we make, and here's how much bills cost. Here's how much this cost. Here's how much this cost. Here's how much this cost. And this is what we have left. And some of this goes to savings. Some of this goes to giving away. And then after all of that, this is what we have. This is why we can't go to the trampoline park and go do all this crazy stuff all the time.
And that's not too much of a burden on them?
No. It's teaching them. You're not shifting the burden to them. You're just saying, hey, I want to teach you guys how to budget, and we're going to do it fun. This is how much money we make in the house. And you can say, when your daddy chose to leave, the court said he had to continue to pay for your house because he's your dad. And so this is how much money comes in. And my job, this is how much money I make at my job. And I would tell you, you're going to have to change your attitude about work for a season, probably. When somebody says, hey, you may have to go get a second job or a different job, and you're thinking, I can't deal with any more change. I'm so exhausted, I can't even see straight. And you shut down that conversation. What you are shutting down is 5 years from now, Mary, with a really incredible job and some kids that are older and they're teenagers and y'all are having fun, and y'all are laughing, and you've got car insurance and they've got a vehicle that they share, that everything starts to shift. And right now you don't see it because you're still in the middle of it. You still hurt. You still hate that guy so much. And that rage and frustration and resentment consume you. You're going to have to let that stuff go. How does that, like, as I'm saying that, how does that sound? I know it sounded crazy when I told you to write down every day, I wish him well. I hope things are going well for him.
Sounds hard. I want to let go of that. It's hard picturing it happening.
It is. Can I tell you why I think it's hard?
Here's why. He keeps doing dumb, like hurtful and mean things. Like when he's still hurting me over and over.
How does he hurt you right now?
Well, there's things like, say, with the boys, like with their activities, their sports, like that's something that's really important to them, and then he'll be like, no, he'll fight me on it, and he'll like refuse to, say, like they play hockey, and he was refusing to. He would only pay for hockey if he was financially capable, and then he went out and bought a camper, motorcycle, and whatever else.
Okay, but why in the world? I know that's frustrating. But why do you let him into your heart like that? Do you realize?
It's like through the boys, through my kids, though. Like
I know he's not. I think he's not hurting you. I think he's hurting these kids. Like that move tells me the character of a man he is, and I'm not going to give that man 1 second of my day. He cashed it out. That's a man who cheats on his wife. That's a man who can't admit to challenges. That's a man who chooses, I'm going to go do this right now, over my kids really want to play hockey and they're pretty dang good. And actually there's been enough disconnection in their life. This is a way to bring us all back on the same page. Yeah. It's a child. It's a coward. And I'm not going to give that guy 1 second of my day. So if he gets a camper, you can shake your head and then go on about your day. Any choice after that to dwell on it, to think on it, to dig into that is a choice for you to be miserable. I'm not going to do that. And yes, what I'm asking you to do is borderline impossible. I get that. That's why I go back to say, you've got to write this stuff down. I wish him well. I hope the father of my kids is healthy and whole and making good choices, and I hope he's happy. But as for me and my house, I'm going to be honest to my kids about the budget. I'm going to be honest with our kids about, hey, mom's getting another job, and so I'm not going to be around as much, or we're going to have a babysitter, or I'm getting a new job, so I'm going to have to do some night school to get some training so that I can go do this new job. I'm going to make a little bit more money, but explain it to them. And not in a, look what your dad did to us, but in a, this is reality now. And my promise to you is this, Mary. When they're 18, when they're 16, when they're 25, they're going to remember these conversations, these monthly budget meetings with mom. And they're going to begin to ask, where was my dad? Why did dad leave us? Why was dad buying campers? And so, what in the world? Those days will come. That reckoning will come. But again, even if it doesn't, you will know, and you will sleep well at night knowing I was a person of integrity and joy and peace and patience. All the fruits of the Spirit. That's who I am. I'm not going to war with people who cheat. Thank you so much for the call.